If you just take his tack off and wash him down, Joanna, please. Thank you. The Pony Club gives an excellent all-round training to our young riders. To enjoy our riding does not mean that one has to buy an expensive horse, but correct training of the horse and rider is a must for safety and for the welfare of the horse. As an ex-Pony Club member, I have been able to reap the benefits of this training, which today still helps me with my competing.
We have just seen Ian Stark, an international rider using a special jumping exercise. Even this exercise can be dangerous if used in the wrong way, and this emphasises the importance of getting the best possible help from the earliest stages if you're going to ride. Ideally, one should start at an approved riding school. Before taking the plunge of buying the first pony, there are a number of things to bear in mind. Firstly, the facilities you require. And secondly, there are various places you can keep a pony: farms, livery yards, or local riding schools. But most people would prefer to have access to their own field. And a paddock, such as the one I'm in here, is a perfect example. In the wild, horses would have unlimited grazing. Therefore, when we enclose them in a paddock, we must ensure there is a good variety of grasses and herbs. Horses are naturally fussy grazers and will tend to overgraze certain areas called lawns, leaving other areas stale and rough. They're also susceptible to internal parasites or worms, which are passed out in the droppings. Therefore, these must be collected on a daily basis, and countergrazing with other stock, such as sheep, will alleviate the problem. The paddock will also need fertilising, rolling and harrowing yearly. The size of paddock your pony will need will vary depending upon the quality of the grazing, but if well maintained, 1 to 2 acres is adequate for one pony. Problems can arise if the pony has access to too much rich grass in the spring and becomes overweight. On the other hand, in winter grass has little feeding value and the pony will need extra food. A good quality meadow hay may be sufficient, but if he's in hard work, he may need some hard feed. Another seasonal problem is flies in summer, and access to a field shelter will provide relief from them. Although there may appear to be lots of growth in the field, ponies will not eat certain plants, and weeds can be controlled by spraying or topping, but any poisonous plants, which includes buttercups, should be removed completely. You must check your pony once a day, so bear in mind the location and access to your field, especially in bad weather. Fencing is of paramount importance for security and safety reasons. A solid wooden post and rail such as this one is excellent. Hedges provide a good natural boundary with the added advantage of shelter, but any gaps must be securely stopped. Post and wire is perfectly acceptable as long as the wire is correctly tensioned and the bottom strand is not so low as a pony may get its leg caught. Barbed wire should be avoided at all costs, as should any loose wire or sharp projections. The gate should be hung on a well-secured post so that it swings easily. It should have a pony-proof catch, and again, for security reasons, a chain and padlock. Water is also an essential requirement. This can be provided in a variety of ways. Natural streams are fine, as long as the base is not sandy and there's no pollution. Ponds should be avoided, as the water can become stagnant. Here we have a self-filling trough. Troughs should have a hard standing, so that the ground around does not become too muddy, and should not have any sharp projections. Ice can be a problem in winter, as can leaves in autumn, but whatever the source, it should be clean, fresh and constantly available. Therefore, it needs checking daily. Field shelters are important. Ponies can withstand cold, but being cold and wet is more problematical. Therefore, they need some sort of shelter from wind and rain. This shelter is purpose-built. It has its back to the prevailing wind and a good wide doorway. Remember, it's worth paying attention to every detail of the field where your pony is going to live. Unfortunately, we often see ponies kept in poor conditions, and sights like this are all too common. There are many sources of buying a pony, such as dealers' yards, sales, or newspaper advertisements. But undoubtedly it's best to go on personal recommendation. Your local pony club is an ideal source of such information. Chris McGran, a very experienced and highly regarded instructor who teaches at many branches of the pony club, is here today to assist in the procedure of buying a first pony. The most important quality is that it has a safe, quiet temperament and is friendly and willing. So it's a good idea to be aware of its past history by speaking to previous owners and looking at family photographs. An older pony with good manners and behaviour may be a better prospect than a younger one who has not yet had these established. The size and build should be suitable for the child concerned. Essentially, the first pony should be a confidence giver. Chris and Gemma have asked for the pony to be led out to gain a general impression of his attitude and basic shape. You should ask to see it led at walk and trot, as the way in which he moves should be considered. A smooth, even stride being more comfortable than an extravagant, jerky action. It should then be scene ridden, and as everything seems okay, Chris is happy for Gemma to have a ride. First, he stays close to the pony's head in a confined area, before allowing Gemma to ride in a small paddock. The pony must be obedient, be willing to stop and stand still, to start and to steer. You may need to look at several ponies before you find the right one that the child can establish a rapport with. And it's always advisable to get a veterinary surgeon to check its health before actually buying it.
Gemma, turn towards me now. That's it. Legs straight to me. Well done. Now you're smiling. Then you can ride a circle that way. Ride him on. Don't look at me. That's it. Ride him on that way. Turn that way. Then you're going towards the white buckets again. More energy, use those legs a bit more, make him walk on a bit sharper. 1, 2, that's it, little more energy, good girl. Think of that right leg. Now towards the fence. That's it, good attention. And now think about turning to me and trotting on towards me. That's it.
Finally, having found the right pony, Chris is going to show Gemma the correct way to catch him.
Over the top.
To fit correctly, a head collar should be large enough so that it will not rub and the pony can eat easily. But the noseband should not be so low as it could slip off.
Right, you come round this side and then hold the rope. That's it. There we go, there. And there, and then we're going to lead him out through the gate over there. So we say, walk on, Tally. That's it. Where are you going? Come on, walk on. So we're going to mount him. So we have to go up and check the girth. Can we do that? That's it. Right, and pull the stirrup down. Right, now how do you hold your reins? Fit the reins into this hand. Right, over there. Now turn this way. And put all the way into the stirrup. Remember, all the way right in. Bite your toe down and right over to the far side of the saddle. Not the back, but right over to the far side. That's it, and now off you go and sit down.
As Gemma progresses with her
Wow.
lessons, one of the first things she would learn is how to mount and dismount, leaving the reins and neck strap in the left hand and holding the front part of the saddle with her right hand.
Straight up.
This will be safe and allow her to eventually progress to vaulting on and off.
Front of the saddle. Good girl. And swing down. Well done. Good. All right, over to do it once again. And this time you're going to stay sitting up there. There. That's it. Turn the stirrup. Can you do that now? That's it. All right, start on. That's it. Good. All the way in. Is it going to happen? That's it. All the way right round the back of the saddle. That's it. And down you go. And now we're putting your foot in the stirrup.
Dress at this
Holding the
point is
reins.
purely for safety and comfort. The child must at all times when riding and dealing with the pony have a correctly fitted British standard crash hat, generally worn with a velvet or silk cover, and the harness fastened. Jods are more comfortable than jeans, which may rub or pinch.
Still. No, we're too thin. That's it.
Footwear should have smooth soles and a definite heel. Rough soles may not allow the foot to come out of the stirrup easily in an emergency, and heels prevent the foot sliding right through. We can also see that Gemma has safety stirrup irons, again so the foot cannot get caught in an emergency.
That's it.
British equestrianism is highly regarded worldwide, and training can start at an early age. Pony club camps and rallies provide an ideal and fun learning environment. Teaching a group of young riders is Nikki Herbert, a qualified British Horse Society instructress.
Hello everybody, you're all looking really well turned out this afternoon, and so are your ponies. Before we start, I just want to check down the line, make sure the tack's safe and that you're holding the reins correctly. Hello Simone. Let's just check how you get the thumb, that's right, thumb on the, oh keep holding the reins. Thumb on the top of the rein there, that's it, so you've really got it securely between your thumb and your first finger. Well done, little finger around the outside of the rein, and the other one's the same. And you keep those a pair all the time you're riding, won't you? What's your pony called?
Lucy.
Lucy. I'm glad to see you've got a neck strap. That's most important. Something to hold on to rather than grabbing the pony's mouth. Good girl, Lucy. Hello. Joe, how are you? Good. And how's your pony?
Okay.
You just carry the stick across your thigh like that. That's it. You've got a knot in your reins. They sometimes get a bit too long, do they? Good idea.
Right, thank you.
Good. Don't forget when you're holding your hands, when you're carrying them, really to carry them, not to let them slump down and rest on the saddle. Then you can follow the movement of the pony. Well done. Hello, Dommy. How are you?
Right, thank you.
Jolly good. And you don't need a knot in your reins, but I'm pleased to see you've got a neck strap. Jolly good. Right, are you all happy and ready to start? Off we go then. Let's take Dommy as leading file, walk onto the track on the right rein so that your right hand is on the inside of our school. And keep up your distances. Cut the corners if you ever find you're being left behind. So, Sophie, you're now leading file. You're responsible for the rest of the ride keeping up with you. Ride, prepare to trot, rising trot this time. And when you reach E, I want you to make a turn across the school, down towards B, and change the rein, turning right when you reach B. Ride, trot on. And to prepare for your turn, you're going to have to use your inside rein, your left rein, and your left leg, bring the pony round the corner, and now change your aid, so you're going to use your right rein and your right leg to turn right. And change your diagonals, remember, as you go onto the new rein. Well done. Jolene, just cut the corner there a little bit. Watch your distance, Simon, at the back. Good. And ride, prepare to walk, and ride, walk. And give your ponies a pat, let them stretch down and walk on a long rein. Walk forward, Sophie. And give them a pat. You've all worked jolly hard this afternoon. Now I think it's time we should play a game. I'll explain what you've got to do. First of all, on the word go, you're going to walk until you reach the E-B line. All right? If you trot, you have to turn a circle. So walk to there. When you reach that line, go into trot. And can you see you've each got a block at the far end? I want you to trot to the block. And when you get there, you can cross your stirrups over. Remember, cross the right one over first, then the left. Dismount. Quietly take the reins over your pony's head. and then you're going to lead him, pushing him away from you, round the block. Remember, hold the reins just below the chin here, and the spare rein in your left hand, and your sticks, if you're carrying them, in your left hand, so you can push the pony round the block away from you, and then lead him all the way back. But do remember, if he's not following you, don't get in front of him and pull him like this and say, come on, come on, come on, because he'll say, oh, I'm going to run away from that as fast as I can, and he won't come. So stand well at his shoulder here, and if you can't get him to move, just a little tap with your stick and say, come on, we're off. And as fast as you can, back to the bottom here. The first one past this line of the A marker is the winner. Do you all understand what you've got to do? Good. Right, I'm going to get out of your way so I don't get mown down. Are you ready? Go! Walking. If you trot, you have to turn a circle. And at the E marker, trot. Oh, well done. Just Simone, just. Very, very close. All right, remount everybody. Right, are you all ready? Shall we play a different game now? Right, for this next game, spread yourselves out evenly round the circle. I'll just take your sticks from you because you won't need them. And what you're going to do, thank you, is trot round for this game the outside of the letters that you see in this circle. Any more sticks to come in? And when I say now, you will jump off your ponies. This time don't take the reins over their necks, but take the bridle just under the chin there and run in with the pony and stand on a block. Right, trot on. Now! Run in, find a block. They're quite slippery, don't slip off. Well done. Right, I'm going to take one block away now. Now!
Coming.
Well done.
When the young rider is a couple of years older, they're going to require a pony that's capable of doing more. It's going to be larger and the child is becoming more confident and independent. This pony may now need a stable.
This is a lovely south-facing brick-built stable block. However, your stable may well be built of wood, which would also be fine. It's very important to remember that bringing the horse into the stable, you're taking him out of his natural environment. So make sure that your stable has plenty of ventilation, a good airy top door, which should remain open all the time, and also a window. And better really if the window opens. Unfortunately, these don't. They're made of plastic, which is quite safe because the horse won't hurt himself on it. But if it was made of glass or was constructed so that it could open inwards and upwards, the air could flow easily over the horse's back. Of course, if it were made of glass, you would have to have bars on the inside so that he couldn't break the glass and injure himself. The door should be wide enough, about 4 feet wide, as this one is, so that, again, he doesn't injure himself, passing in and out of the stable. This door has very substantial hinges which will prevent it from dropping over the years. It also has a good trim along the top so that if he were to chew it or grab it, it won't become roughened. It's very important, of course, your horse doesn't escape from the stable. So he has a good horse-proof lock on the top of the lower door. However, at the bottom here, they have again the similar sort of latch, and I would prefer to have a kick bolt so that rather than bending down and risking having my hair eaten by the horse, I could kick it with my foot and it would shut easily and efficiently. A few things I'm not so keen on here: a ring just where the horse could grab it and catch his teeth, and also a rather sharp small nail up here for the hoof pick to hang on, which really isn't necessary, and I think would be a lot better if you have to have the hoof pick hanging up somewhere perhaps tucked behind this door over here. Certainly a sharp nail like that could cause the horse a nasty cut if he was rubbing or fiddling about with it. And horses in stables for long periods can get a little bit bored and do like to find things to play with. Now, talking about things to play with, stable fittings. It's as well not to have too many. In fact, these stables have rather a lot. They have automatic drinking troughs, a hay rack, a manger, and also a salt lick holder. But quite honestly, 2 rings in the stable would be enough. One for the hay net, fairly high up, and another one a little lower for the horse to be tied up to. And for your water, 2 good water buckets made of rubber or plastic would be fine. The other fittings that you might find in the stable are the lights. If you're lucky enough to have electricity, it's great. And if you have a light up high enough in the stable, it must have a good horse-proof cover over it. And then the switches should be either carried away in a horse-proof cover to a central place, perhaps in your feed store, where all the switches are. Or, if you want the switches outside the box, here would be quite a good place for a weatherproof switch with a telltale light on it and a plastic cover, so that you can find it in the dark on the winter nights. The size of the stable for your pony, 10 feet by 12 feet is a good size. These are actually about 12 feet by 12 feet, a little bit bigger, so they're all right for horses too. The floor must not be slippery. This is very dangerous for horses, so a roughened concrete surface would be good. These stables also have a lining halfway up round the wall, and this will prevent the horse from injuring his limbs against the rough brick wall. And it's also a little bit warmer in the winter. The great thing here is that we have an overhang, and this will stop the rain coming down onto the horse's head, and it's carried away in a substantial gutter to a drain at the side of the stable. Now let's go and have a look at the feed store. It's a good idea to keep your feed reasonably near to the stable, but wherever you choose to keep it, do keep it in a dry place, and if possible, in some good metal feed bins like these, or a dustbin with a decent lid would do. But keep the lid top closed, otherwise you may find your horse helping himself to his own meals, or perhaps, worse still, maybe rats and mice getting into the feed. A cat is not a bad thing to have about the place to help you with that problem. When you bring your pony into the stable, you are taking him away from his natural habitat, and it is usual for him to eat a little grass and then go on and eat a little more. So his system continually has some roughage going through it. And your job in feeding your pony in the stable is to replace that system as near as you possibly can. So try to give him a constant supply of a good quality dust-free meadow hay. He also needs, more importantly still than the hay, a really clean, plentiful supply of fresh water at all times. Now, if he's working hard, he will probably need something with a little extra punch to it. So you have to think of feeding some hard food. And I think the best thing you could go for is a good brand of horse and pony cube. And to make it a little bit more exciting, why not feed one of the mixes that are made these days, which actually contain all the same things that your cubes have in them. It's just that you can actually see it, and it is more interesting for the pony to eat as well. And to cheer it up still more, you could cut some carrots lengthways so they don't stick in his throat, and add those on the top. The amount that you feed is sometimes difficult to work out when you're new to keeping a pony in a stable, and your best guide is to look in your Pony Club manual and on the back of the manufacturer's bag. However, of course, it will vary according to the size and temperament of your pony and the amount of work he's doing, and also to a certain extent the ability of the rider on top. It's very important that the bowl that you choose to feed your pony with is kept clean, so each time he's finished his feed, give it a good scrub and leave it to dry. The routine of feeding is important. 2 feeds a day would be enough for your pony, one in the morning and one at tea time. And if he has a little grass out in the field or his hay during the middle part of the day, that would be enough, and of course plenty of hay throughout the night. Part of our routine is mucking out when we go to feed in the morning. So shall we go and have a look at how that's done now? First thing in the morning, when you come to see your pony, the most important thing to check is that he's happy and healthy. And if you're worried about anything, you think you might need the vet, this is the time of morning to ring him before he goes out on his rounds. However, if the pony seems fine, then go in, tie him up with a small amount of hay, and then you're ready to muck out. You'll see I've changed my boots, so I'm ready to muck out now. Good boy. There's a good fella. Let's move over, chappie. Over you go. There's a good lad. There's a good fella. The object here is to remove the droppings first of all. So taking a fork, pick them up, and I'm going to put them into the barrow, but I'm trying to save as much of the good clean straw as I can, and that I will chuck up to the side. So once the droppings have gone, then the rest that come out will be the wet patches and saving the clean straw. This horse is bedded on wheat straw, which is generally used because it's fairly economical, it's quite easy to get rid of, and it's pleasing appearance in the stable. It also drains better than most other straws. The other straws you could use would be barley straw or oat straw. However, with the barley straw, sometimes it can cause a little skin problem with some horses, and the oat straw, they do tend to eat it rather. Just taking off the clean straw here, finding the wet patch. There we are, there it is. You get to know after a while where your pony is going to stale, and then you can usually go straight to the wet part. Having cleared one side of the stable, I then have to move the pony over. Good boy. As long as I always keep my hand on his back as I walk round him and push him over, there's no worry of being kicked. There's a good lad. There, fella. Now I can do the rest of the box. Oh, there's a wet bit there, I missed. You can really feel by the weight in your hand what's wet and what's dry. Always want to make sure that the bed you give your pony is thick enough, deep enough, so that when he does lie down and get up, he doesn't go down to the hard, bare concrete and make himself sore. we're just about ready to sweep out all these odd bits. Yeah, there's a good fella. As long as you know the pony knows exactly where you are because you warn him by talking to him all the time, there's no danger of him being worried or taken by surprise. Really give it a good firm sweep so you get all the bits off the floor. And I'm going to sweep it into a pile, then I can shovel it up. There's a good chap. Oh, sweetie, just move your feet. There's a good boy, sorry. It's quite important to park the barrow just coming into the stable a little way. Otherwise, you make an awful mess outside the box if you have to carry it too far out. Little bit. There we are, and that's ready to go to the muck heap. Good boy. While the floor's been airing, I've had time to pick out the pony's feet and to brush him off, tidy up his rugs. So now I'm going to put down the fresh bedding. And first of all, I will start by throwing the already used straw, but clean, towards the middle of the box. So that'll be the stuff that goes out tomorrow morning. Good lad. I want the bed to be even all over and plenty deep enough. Careful not to put it in his water bowl. Ready for the new straw. Some ponies may only need half a bale every day, but we'll give them a good bed, deep bed today. There's a good chap. Don't, whatever you do, leave the string lying around in the box or in the yard. It's better if you just put it together like that and have either a bag or a hook somewhere in the yard where you keep it. Now we take one section at a time and shake it up. If your straw is very dusty, it may be a good idea, if you have a horse that's liable to cough with the dust, just to take him out of the stable while you're doing this bit. Oh boy. The reason for the banks is so that the pony doesn't injure himself if he's rolling in the box. Also helps to keep it a little bit warmer. Right, now his bed is down, he's ready for his breakfast, so I'll untie him. But this is the time, if he did have water in buckets, I'd put it in now, clean and fresh. An alternative type of bedding would be shavings, and to muck this out, both the muck and the wet, I'd use a shavings fork. But there are always odd little bits that get left behind in the shavings, and to pick these up, I'd just put on a rubber glove and pop them into the skip. Shavings are a little bit more expensive than straw, but the great advantage of them is that they have a different type of dust, and it's not so harmful to a horse with respiratory problems. An alternative type of bedding for horses with respiratory problems would be shredded newspaper. However, it does tend to blow about in the wind, and when it's wet, it's jolly heavy to handle. Always remember when you leave your pony in his stable to check he has plenty of clean water and some hay, and when you come out of the stable, close the door and fasten it securely. Sophie's going to get her pony ready to ride now and brush him off. She's going to start off by picking out the pony's feet. This preparation before the ride would be the same whether the pony was kept in the stable all the time or half of the time, or whether he was kept in the field all the time. The main thing is to make sure there's no stones in the foot and to be careful when she picks it out that she is aware of the frog, part of the actual foot of the pony. That's it, let him know you're there. Always picking it out from the heel towards the toe. She's a very obliging pony, allowing her to pick the feet out all from this side. Some ponies you'd have to go around the other side and do each foot individually. And now the dandy brush she'll use to get off any excess mud or dust and dirt from his body and all over his legs. Good firm strokes, very businesslike approach, and she's got the brush in her left hand, so she's got plenty of elbow grease behind it. Then she'll go round the back of the pony, keeping her hand on his quarters so that he knows where she is all the time, which is the safest way to pass behind a pony. And she's changed hands for the other side, so again she's got good power to her elbow. The only time she'd use the brush in the other hand is when she went under his stomach, then she might change them over. She wouldn't use this dandy brush on his mane or his tail, because that would pull out the hair, and that would be a shame because he'd end up with a very thin, wispy tail. But they're quite clean and tidy today, so that's all right. Now she's unclipping the pony's rope from his head collar, because although he's tied up with a quick release knot to a piece of string, so that should he tie back, it would break rather than the head collar breaking. Anything she does to the horse's head is much safer to untie him first, and then if he pulls back, she can go with him, she won't lose the pony, and the pony won't be frightened. She's also just laying the mane with a little bit of water to train it to stay over on one side.
Good boy.
That's it, tie him up again. And I'll get the tack.
Thank you.
As he's tied up already, she's going to put the saddle on first. There you are. Again, let him know you're coming.
Good boy.
That's it. And it's quite important that she fits the saddle quite far forward to start with, and then lets it slide back. Okay. So I'm just going to lift it here, do you see, and get the numner well up in the front here, so that it doesn't put any pressure on his back. And just slide it back a little way into the correct position.
Good boy.
He's got a nice leather girth, which is shaped so that it's not going to cause him any rubs or girth galls. But a string girth would be quite all right as well. And a numner underneath his saddle, in case he has a little bit of a cold back. Makes it more comfortable for him. Right, now I'm going to put the bridle on. This is a snaffle bridle with an ordinary Cabeston noseband. Reins go over the pony's head, and she's still left the head collar on so that he can't escape. Now she's got him with the reins, so she can quite happily take the head collar off. Again, you'll notice that she's unclipped the head collar, so it's not left dangling, which would be very unsafe because he could catch a foot in a head collar hanging off the end of this. Stand well to one side of him rather than in front of him, Sophie. And if you just place a thumb in the side of the pony's mouth, that'll encourage him to open it and let the bit in. That's it. Make sure he's comfortable. Very important to check that you do all the correct straps up and the keepers are all in. Now she's doing up the throat lash, which helps to keep the bridle on and in place. But it mustn't be too tight. She wants just to get, that's right, 4 fingers in, so that he can flex his jaw. And now the noseband, a little bit tighter than the throat lash, allowing just about 2 fingers gap for movement. Right, Sophie, can I help you now? Thank you. Let's just have a look at how this tack is fitted. Mr. Pony. Important things to remember, having put the bridle on as we've just seen. The brow band is just catching his ears a little bit there, so pull it down well. Make sure it's wide enough that it doesn't pull the headpiece forward on his ears. Plenty of room for him to move his ears there. Moving on down, the noseband often just needs straightening up, and you should be able to get 2 fingers under the point of the cheekbone here, but it mustn't interfere with the bit ring. The bit itself must be neither too low in the mouth so that it hits these front teeth, or too high so the pony is forced to keep his mouth open all the time. This is correctly fitted now. It just creases the corners of the mouth, and if I pull it down, I can't get it to leave the corners too much. The reins are the correct length for this size of pony. Going on to the saddle now. This is a useful general purpose saddle of the correct size for the pony. It's important that there's plenty of room here, and we can't really tell until the rider's sitting on it if it does fit correctly. But there is a lot of room here, so I'm pretty certain that would be quite all right. Always important to check on the saddle that the stitching on the girth straps and particularly on the stirrup leathers is quite safe and sound, and the stirrup bar is down. These are safety irons, which are good especially for children in case the stirrup doesn't come off. The only problem with this saddle that I don't quite like is that if you can imagine where the rider will be sitting, the deepest point is here, which actually isn't in the centre of the saddle. It's a little bit too far to the back. So I'd advise Sophie to have her saddle altered a little bit by the saddler so that it raises the back half, and you can see how that now makes the deeper part of the saddle about there. Right, Sophie, would you like to lead him away now and mount? Stand at his shoulder and divide the reins of your fingers.
All right, Etty and Sophie. While the rest of the ride are practicing their dressage tests, we're going to practice going through 1 or 2 of the things you can do to make your ride home safer. I see you've got your bibs on. What else can we do to make the motorists see us?
Use signals.
Signals. Yes, what sort of signals do you know?
Left, right, and slow down.
Very good. All right, Sophie, can you show me your right hand signal? Very good, super. All right, Etty, let's have a look at you going left. Great. So what other signals can we use? What other ones can we use?
Thank you.
A thank you. Why is it important to use a thank you signal?
Because when they come past, it's polite to say thank you because they slow down.
Very good. Right, could you show me that one? Well done, and a nice smile as well. All right, so if you can remember those signals, can you see that we've got a road here in front of us, a mock road? We have a wheelbarrow and some workmen there moving some stones, and we have a lady with an umbrella there. Understand? All right, so if you remember your signals, you're riding as a group, so keep together. So if you want to walk on and then round and start the exercise. So if you can just catch up a little bit, Sophie. So you've just come round the corner now and you're seeing the man with the gravel. Keep very close together. That's it. Good, now hold both reins as you're passing the object. That's it. That's it, and now you're going to make a left turn. Are you together? Good. Right, do you think you might be talking and chattering? Do you talk when you go along the road? Yeah? All right, well done.
Adam and Kate, we're going to watch you now riding without stirrups, see how that can strengthen your positions. I'm pleased to see you've taken the buckle away from the saddle here, which is good because it'll make it more comfortable for your leg. Right, Adam, if you'd like to walk on out to the track there, and then just take half the school, so you'll turn across the EB line. And Becky and Etty, come, give your ponies a rest in the middle here. Well done. So think about following with your seat bones the 1, 2, 1, 2 of the horse's hind legs stepping under. Close both your legs on the pony's side, so you're really riding them forward in the walk. Adam, try not to lean back in the walk. And Katie, you're a little bit hollowing your tummy and slouching your back. See if you can grow taller through your upper body. Be sure you're sitting far enough forward in the saddle. And now just take away your leg from the side of the saddle and let it come back with the thigh very flat. So your lower leg is right under your hip there. Grow and grow and grow. Look straight ahead of you, but don't lean back. That is a much better, much better. Can you all see the difference in Kate's position now? Well done, Kate. Now see if you can keep that while we go into trot. So Adam, are you ready to trot on? Shorten your reins. And forward to sitting trot. On you go. Carry your hands. See if you can manage to keep your seats independent of the rein so that you're not jabbing the ponies in the mouth. Well done, Kate. Keep your toe relaxed. Keep coming across the school here. Think about the bend as you approach B. Elbows a little bit bent. Adam, your shoulders are just a little bit too far back. Can you take them a fraction of an inch forward? That's it. And now you must think about your outside shoulder leading as you come round these corners, because they must be in line with the pony shoulders. Keep the trot going. That's it. A little bit more leg. Keep the contact in the rein, otherwise you're letting all the energy out of the front door. Look up. Don't slump back down. Really hold it. And now take the reins in the outside hand and just give yourself a bit of help by taking the pommel outside hand, Adam. Then it brings your outside shoulder forward, you see? And take the pommel of the saddle with the inside hand and just pull yourself down into the saddle. Don't lean back, Kate, as you do this. Really feel that you're sitting above your bones. That's it. Now take both reins back again. A little bit more impulsion in the trot. Carry your hands. Now you slump back again. Think of sitting above yourself. Really carry yourself. Neck in the back of your collar, chin in a little more. And take a deep breath, Adam. Let your shoulders drop down. Like that. That's better. Now you're smiling. That's much better. All right, and prepare to walk. Keep the position. Don't lean back. And walk. Don't lean back. Breathe. Walk on. And prepare to trot on. Once more, and trot. Really active. Off you go. Trot. Keep your legs on the pony. And prepare to walk. And walk. One take and give with the outside rein and walk forward. Okay, make much of your ponies and walk them on a long rein. And if you'd like to come in behind, from A, behind these bay ponies, we'll have a look at the bay boys. Girls, are they? Well done. You can take your stirrups back. Could you feel that vast change you made? That was really super. Now all you need is the strength to hold it. Well done. That's it, Adam, turn in there. And now Jamie and the other Kate, if you walk forward to the track, turn left at E. Walk on now, Jamie. Okay, let him stand there, Adam. That's fine. Now then, Kate and Jamie on the lighter bay pony. I want you to think, and the rest of you to watch carefully, how you ride a circle. What are the aids for riding a circle? First of all, can you tell me the job of your inside leg? Yes? On the girth. What for? What does it do there? To create bend. Anything else? Push them round. Not really. Much more to create the energy and the impulsion and to send the pony forward. Then what about your outside leg? Does that have a job? Behind the girth, yes. And that will control the quarters. Walk your pony on a bit more, Kate. And it has one other job. What's that? It asks for the canter strike off, doesn't it? It tells that outside hind leg to step forward as the first leg into canter. So that's where your outside leg sits. But unless you're going around a corner or asking for canter, it should remain just there on the pony's side. Now the inside rein, turn across there, that's it, asks the pony for direction and to relax his jaw a little bit on the inside. So it helps with the bend to the inside. And the job of your outside rein, as we've already used a lot this morning, is to control the speed that you're travelling at and to ask for the downward transitions. And one other job, it limits the amount of bend. We saw earlier with the spotted pony of Ettie's that on one rein to the right, I think it was, the pony gave her a lot too much bend, and so her outside hand had to come into play to limit that amount of bend because it wasn't equal to the amount of bend throughout the pony's body, and the pony must only have as much bend in the neck as he can make through the rest of his body. Otherwise he just curls up and licks your knee, and then you haven't really got control of him. So go forward to trot now, and we'll have a look at you on a circle with looking at their outside legs, everybody. Can you keep an eye on the outside legs? Make sure, because I'm on the inside of the circle, I can't see, make sure that their outside legs are just behind the girth in the correct position. Carry your hands so your thumbs are on top of the rein, elbows bent. Look up. Are their outside legs back? Good. And let's make a transition to walk. Outside rein asking for walk. One ask and go back to the contact you've got. Walk on, turn left. And now let's have a look at you on the other rein because sometimes legs don't match. So turn across the school halfway between E and K and going in a straight line. I'm just going to stand behind you and then I can see how straight you're sitting. And when you reach the track, turn right towards F. Really feel that you've got one seat bone either side of the saddle. Jamie, you're sitting out to the left a little bit. Can you stand up in your stirrups and sit over to the right? Sit down on the right side. That's it. Now look a little to the outside. There, that should have made you a little bit straighter. And on this rein, forward to sitting trot and trot on. Think about asking for more bend. Don't lean back, Jamie. Keep thinking of sitting on the right seat bone. All right, and prepare to canter. The aids for canter, outside leg comes back to ask for the strike off. Keep the contact with the outside rein so the pony doesn't run on in his trot. And Kate, in your own time, on this circle, forward to canter right. Try not to let your body tip forward. On, keep it going, look up as you give the aid, and canter. That's it, push forward. Now can you see the small of her back? That's giving quite nicely. Let your outside shoulder come round. Look up, keep the forward movement there. Feel it die, just put on a bit more extra inside leg to keep the movement going. Stay in trot now, just turn your hands over on the reins, and we'll have a look at Jamie's pony. Into canter, Jamie. Well, that was a bit of a muddled strike off. Let's have a look at that again. Forward to trot. Now keep the trot until the time you give the aid. One clear aid and straight into canter. Try not to look down. Much better. Did you see how much more organised that was? Good. Go forward to trot and walk and rest. Steady. Look up. Try to look to the pony's outside ear a little bit more. And that'll help this right hip of yours to stay on the right. Okay, both of you forward to walk. And walk your ponies on a long rein. Right, the two on the chestnuts, take your stirrups back. And Etty and Becky, would you like to come out to the track now and walk your ponies on a long rein? Cut across now. so you meet them as they come to K, right across. And just because you're walking your ponies on a long rein now, because they've worked hard and they're going to be allowed to stretch their long back muscles and relax, that doesn't mean that you can relax. You're still sitting on board the pony, so you should still maintain this super position that you've improved so much this morning. Very good, Kate, well done. Follow the movement, because your pony's still nodding his head, but encourage the pony to take the rein from you. Don't throw it at the pony. A free walk on a long rein, he takes the rein down. If he'll hoover the grass, that'll be super. Give them a pat on the inside of their neck, but just maintain contact with the outside rein. Good. Have you enjoyed yourselves? Good. Do you think you've learnt something? Have you improved a little bit? I think you have. Well done.
The riders we have just been watching were beginning to learn about the sequence of the paces of the horse. Here we see a horse at walk. This is a marching pace, and there are 4 beats to each pace of the walk. The 2 green legs move, then the 2 blue legs, moving hind, 4, hind, 4. The horse is over tracking. That is, the hind foot makes an imprint beyond the imprint just left by the foreleg. The trot is a 2-time, with the legs moving in diagonal pairs. Here we see the 2 green legs moving as a diagonal pair, and then the 2 blue legs. In between each stride there is a period of suspension with all 4 legs off the ground at the same time. The steps must be regular and even. The canter is a 3-time, and the horse should appear light on his feet and be balanced and rhythmic. There are 3 beats to each stride, starting with the outside hind leg, or blue bandage, followed by a diagonal pair, the green bandages, followed by the inside foreleg, the yellow bandage. This is the leading leg. Again there is a period of suspension between each stride when all 4 legs are off the ground. This applies on each rein. The whole subject of your pony's health can be an area of confusion, and your best possible guide is a veterinary surgeon. Colin Vogel is an expert on equine health.
You should check your pony every day. And by this, I don't mean just looking over the fence and making sure that it's still in the field. You should go up to the pony and look at it all over to make sure that there aren't any wounds. You should also see it walk and trot to make sure that it's not lame. In addition to this regular care, there are certain things that need to be done on a regular basis in order to keep the pony healthy. It will need its feet trimming and possibly shoeing every 6 to 8 weeks. It will also need to be wormed every 2 months. This helps to prevent problems such as loss of condition or colic, and also reduces the contamination of your pasture with worm eggs. Every year your pony will need a vaccination against 2 dreadful diseases, tetanus and equine influenza. Your veterinary surgeon will carry out these vaccinations for you, and it's a good plan at the same time to ask him to check your pony's teeth, because they can develop sharp points in their mouth which make chewing uncomfortable.
If your pony is living out all or part of the time in winter and feeling the cold, or is clipped in any way, you'll need a New Zealand rug. This is a tough waterproof rug with a warm lining and can be made in canvas like this one, or a lighter weight nylon. It's essential the rug fits well because he may be wearing it for long periods of time and it has to stay put when he rolls. Before you put the rug on, it's a good idea if you do the leg straps up, then they can't flip over and catch his legs. Always place it well forward so that the hair can lie in the right direction when you slide it back. At the front, you should have plenty of room for his shoulder and so that he can graze easily. But obviously the more snug it is, the more it's going to keep the rain out. It should never rub anywhere, and you can put sheepskin under the withers and places like that to stop this happening. Some are fitted with a surcingle, but this can press on the back, so this one has had the surcingle removed to stop that problem. It should be deep enough so that the water runs off and not round onto his tummy, and long enough, again, so the water runs off and not down his tail. Some rugs are fitted with leg straps. These are designed to help keep the rug in place and should be adjusted so that they don't hang so low as he may get his leg caught, but they mustn't be so tight so that they can rub. When you do the second strap up, it's often a good idea to loop it through the first strap and cross them underneath, again to stop it rubbing. You should always make sure, even from when the rug is new, that you keep these straps supple. To take a New Zealand rug off, you should always undo the leg straps first, then the breast straps, and slide the rug off in the direction of the coat. Now, as we're preparing this pony to travel, we'll also need to protect his legs and tail. We bandage a tail to maintain its appearance and also to prevent it being rubbed when he's travelling. You should damp the hair first to lie it flat, but never wet the bandage as that may shrink. Always start at the top with a couple of turns to secure it, and it should always be firm enough so that it's not going to slip, but never too tight as to be uncomfortable. Work down the tail with an even tension, covering about half the original overlap with your next turn. Work down to about 3/4 of the way down the bone, and then back up again. The bandage we use is elasticated to give it a bit more grip. When you get to the end, the tapes should lie flat and should never be tied any tighter than your original bandage. Secure it with a bow and tuck the ends in. When you're going to take a tail bandage off, you should always undo the tapes first. Grasp it firmly and pull it off in one sweep. Good boy. Okay, so now we're going to put this bandage back on and then we're going to go and do his legs. I've just got one leg left to do, and I'm using underneath the bandage a leg wrap for extra protection and also to help even out the tension of my bandage. But you should always have the flap on the outside, never the front or back. I'm using a wool bandage and starting to work down at an angle, keeping an even tension as I go down. These leg wraps are actually a little bit large for this pony, but they do give excellent protection over the coronary band, where he's likely to tread on himself while travelling or loading and unloading. You should bandage up to just below the knee and secure your tapes flat at the same tension as your bandage. Again, on the outside preferably, never on the front or back. Tuck the ends in neatly, and it's firm enough not to slip but not too tight. Okay, now we're ready to go. To load a pony easily and efficiently, you must remain calm but positive. If you do have a trailer that has a front ramp, it's probably a good idea to put it down, as it makes it lighter and more inviting in the box, as he can see his way through. Okay, Sophie, we're ready to go. So stand at his shoulder, leading forward, straight round and straight on. If your pony was reluctant to load, you would always stay at the shoulder and never try and pull him forward. Okay, straight on. It's very important, before you tie the pony up, that you get a helper to secure the breeching strap, so that if he does pull back and panic, it's better to just let him go loose. For the same reasons of the dangers of a pony pulling backwards, you must always put the ramp up from the side. Secure it well, and then check all the other doors are secure. Now he's safely on board, we can tie him up to a piece of string and using a quick release knot. Okay, Sophie, now we can put the side ramp up. Secure. And we're ready to go. Okay. This trailer has the obvious advantage of having a front ramp, so unloading is made easy by just removing the breast bar and carefully leading him down the ramp. But if you have to take a pony off backwards, that can present more problems. First, send your helper inside to untie the pony. This breeching strap is actually too high for this size of pony, and ideally it should be about 18 inches lower. Always stand to the side so that you can help guide him straight off the ramp. Steady, 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 steady. Come with him, go with him, go with him. That's it, good. Okay, so you can lead him off there now, Sophie.
We're lucky today, the weather isn't quite so hot, so the ponies can work harder without suffering under the heat. Let's now talk about the jumping position. You've worked your ponies in on the flat, ready to jump, and you've all taken your stirrups up. And the reason you've taken your stirrups up is so that you can stay in balance while your pony jumps a fence. Jamie, would you walk forward here so I can demonstrate the jumping position?
Here we see that Jamie is using a gag snaffle with only one rein attached, on the instructions of his teacher. This is for reasons of safety. It would be normal to use 2 reins, with the second rein attached to the ring of the snaffle. But always take the advice of your teacher regarding bits.
Just coming to halt in front of the ride. That's it, stop there. Now, Jamie, you fold forward for me into the position you would take up over a fence. Yes, thank you. Okay, now I want to make a few corrections to this because can you see Jamie's looking down to start with? And to keep her balance, she needs to look straight between the pony's ears. She's taken the weight a little bit too far out of the saddle here. I want her, having broadened her base of support by shortening the stirrups, she's got a bend in her knee and at her ankle. Now I want her to fold forward just from the top of her leg here, rather than to bend in the waist. Look up, Jamie. That's right. And the back must be flat. Hers is pretty flat, that's good. And pushing her tummy out to meet my hand at the wither here. That's it. Now, are you resting your hands on the neck? Yes. Try to keep the hands away from the neck so that you don't have a fixed hand to the pony's mouth. He must be allowed to stretch his head forward as much as he needs to while he goes over the top of the fence. So you need to be able to do that, to follow through. That's quite good. Well done. Look straight ahead of you. Okay, just offer your hands forward once more without standing up. Okay, well done. And ride forward, keep the contact, keep the trot. Good girl, well done. Straight.
The problem here is that the pony is not going forward sufficiently. Even when taking a fence out of trot, the pony should land in canter. When your ponies go forward willingly to and from the fence, it becomes much easier to sit still and concentrate on keeping the toe up and heel down, which will help to secure the lower leg position. In slow motion, it's easy to see the lower leg swing backwards and forwards too much, and sometimes the body is thrown forwards, which makes it even more difficult to keep the lower leg still. But this rider has a great deal of softness and shows great potential as a jumping rider.
The ponies are going well over a single fence now, and you've got some idea of how to approach and get away from the fences. Now we're going to put two fences together as a double. You can see it here in front of you. This double has one non-jumping stride in it. Because it's slightly uphill and the fences aren't big, I've put it out at 21 feet, so it should just ride quite nicely. Becky and Kate, would you come out first? If you'd circle on the left rein this time, round the fence at the bottom, in trot, and then when I tell you, come out in canter and just make it part, the fences just come as part of your canter rhythm. Keep cantering, meet the fence, one non-jumping stride through the middle and look straight ahead, ride forward out over the second element, and then ride on in the same rhythmical canter. So onto a circle in trot, check your diagonal. Kate, work on the impulsion as you're riding your circle. Right, when you're ready, Becky, go forward to canter, keep the canter and approach the double. Look at your fence all the way. Make him straight, look forward. We saw a bit of a long one there, but quite well ridden. You need to watch your lower leg position. Are you ready, Kate? Are you ready? Ride a good corner at the bottom, look to your fence, and off you go. Try to keep the weight down into your heels. Look up. And keep the canter. Good girl, that was lovely. You were very straight going away from the fence afterwards. But just be careful you don't fix your hands over the fence and through the middle quite so much. Try to follow through with your whole arm. Well done. Now, we've spent some time getting your positions improved over the fences and the control of your ponies and their balance. Now I think we should put it into practice by taking you out onto some cross-country fences and over the land. Do remember though, when you're going cross-country, you have got the ups and downs of the terrain to cope with, and it's your responsibility to help your pony maintain his balance over this undulating land. So let's go and have a try, see how we get on.
Having fitted back protectors under their jackets, they go for a canter up the field to ensure the ponies are really going forwards.
Steady, legs there, keep the contact, and quietly pop down into the water. Good boy. Good boy. Make a fuss of him. Very brave. Legs there. Now kick. Now kick. Look at the other ponies. Look at the other ponies. That's it. Look at the other ones. Good boy. Very well ridden. Well done, Adam. Good. Now take a pull. Close your legs. Now let the trot come under. And keep going. Look up. Lovely. Well done, Kate.